in Hangzhou city of Zhejiang province. The town he is right now in is called Tangqi. It is a bustling water town built in the Song dynasty. It has a history of more than 1,000 years. Hello there, Han Peng. Happy Chinese New Year to you. What do residents in Tangqi do on the 4th day of the Spring Festival?
Hi, Dongning. Happy Chinese New Year. I'm now enjoying this special rice cake that can only be found in this small village north of the picturesque city of Hangzhou. And it actually dates back to several hundred years ago. So I'm now literally in the middle of an intangible cultural heritage recognized by the Hangzhou authorities. People stuff them with the red bean paste, mold them into different shapes by beating the wooden molds hard on the table, and then steam them for 10 minutes before they can enjoy them. They are not just tasty and delicate, but each piece of the rice cake carries its own story and history. But as China is fast embracing modernization, the tradition of cooking and eating them is fading out of people's lives gradually. My colleague Yang Chengxi is also here in this picturesque ancient town called Tangqi. He has just done a story about more of the disappearing beauty in the Spring Festival of southern China. Let's take a look.
The southeastern Chinese town of Tangxi has all the makings of a popular tourist destination. Picturesque buildings, lush landscapes, a 500-year-old bridge over a canal that flows all the way north to Beijing. Residents and tourists detest that the influx of modern brands here has dampened the area's authentic identity. But you can always find little gems of Chinese traditions here if you look close enough. The local technique of making these pastries hasn't changed for over 2 centuries.
It's our custom to enjoy such pastries at special occasions, like when we start school, marry, or have kids. Also, we use specific pastry molds for different events.
Local resident Yu Ming heads one of the pastry factories here. His passion? Collecting different molds. Some are over 100 years old.
In the past, almost every family here had one of these. But as more and more of them move into big cities, they tend to throw the molds away. So I purchased a lot of them.
Most of them are hand-carved, a technique that's gotten lost in the 21st century due to machinery. Other traditions are also alive and well in this region, like with their favorite tea.
Apart from tea leaves, we add in green peas, dried carrots, orange peel, wild sesame, dried bamboo shoots, as well as peanuts.
That mixture of different ingredients has created a special kind of taste. You wouldn't expect tea to be salty, but it's quite good, to be honest. This is one of the locals' best treats for house guests. As the Spring Festivals brings out the very best of China, Tangxi's hospitality is molded and distilled into these ancient traditions. Yang Chengxi, CGTN, Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province.
So for more about this interesting traditional customs in the Spring Festival here in southern China, we're now joined by Mr. Yu Ming. He is actually an inheritor of the intangible cultural heritage here in Hangzhou, a very renowned person here in the local village. So Mr. Yu doesn't speak English, so I have to do the translation here. Mr. Yu, would you tell us what these special rice cakes actually represent in their different kinds of shapes? 你能不能给我们讲一下这种不同的这种糕点，它的不同的形状代表什么含义吗？
好的，我们在我们江南啊，人生的每一个阶段，我们都会去做糕点啊。小孩出生的时候，周岁的时候，过生日的时候，老人做寿的时候，造房子、娶媳妇，我们都会去做，把美好的祝愿寓意在这个糕点里面。
So Mr. Yu just told me that for every single important stage of people's life here in the northern village of Hangzhou, people actually make this kind of special rice cake, and their different shapes represent different blessings for different stages of lives. So would you give us some examples of that? 我给我们举几个例子好吗？是拿这边的这个。
听得不巧了。 一条鱼就代表过年，我们过年的时候会做一条鱼，就代表年年有余。这个桃子呢是代表长寿，老人过生日的时候就会做桃子。 另外嘛，我们结婚的时候还会做过一个莲蓬，这个莲蓬呢就代表多子多孙，代表新娘可以生好多孩子。
So, Mr. Yu told us that when we are making this kind of fish, actually it means more in China in the same pronunciation. It means more fortune and getting richer. And this is a blessing for the Spring Festival. And when you're doing this kind of peach shape, peach is actually means longevity here in China, so it represents the blessings for the elderly people, and also a special kind of fruit called a lotus seed pod. You can judge from the name that seed pod actually means a pot that carries a lot of seed. So it's actually a blessing for new marriage, new weddings for people to give birth to more babies. So, 您再给我们讲一下. I'll do the asking in English first. So, why are they disappearing gradually here in China, and how can we save them? 我们如何去保护它们？为什么它们现在越来越消失了呢？
因为随着近几年的城市化的推进啊，以前我们城镇里住的是巷子啊，有大院，农村里是有村落。随着这几年城市化的进程，我们都住进了高楼大厦，邻里之间的接触就会越来越少，所以这些东西的我们的做的机会越来越少。经常我们把孩子叫过来，重温往日的那些情怀，哎。
Mr. Yu said because of the urbanization, people are now moving into high-rises and different apartments, and this kind of atmosphere of gathering together into Chinese New Year is gradually fading out. So that is why they are trying to gather more kids each year during the special Chinese New Year so that they can remember all these kind of old traditions here in China and trying to make sure that this beauty will never disappear from China. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu. So if you want to see more about this, we were going to do a 30-minute live streaming on our CGTN app and also the official account of CGTN on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Sina Weibo. So do follow us more if you are really interested in this kind of tradition and also what is happening here in this bustling ancient town, picturesque ancient town of Tangqi.
Indeed.
Now back to you on TV.
Indeed, Han Peng, you guys are so lucky, aren't you, to being in such a beautiful ancient town during the Spring Festival. And all those pastries, they look so tempting, especially during the lunchtime now. Thank you very much, Han Peng, reporting from Tangqi town in Hangzhou, near Hangzhou city in Zhejiang province. Well, food and entertainment indeed are indispensable parts of Spring Festival, and from Zhejiang province to southwestern China's Guangxi Zhuang autonomous region, the Dong people have their own special way of celebrating, as scores of families all pitch in to put out a remarkable and diverse spread of food. Matthew.
So just now we were on TV and it was a fast-paced program. So I was trying to be brief and trying to make sure that it doesn't waste a lot of time for people who are interested in other pieces of news. But now since we are having a 30-minute live streaming on the new media on CGTN app, as well as the Twitter, Facebook, as well as the Sina Weibo accounts of CGTN, you can actually watch more about this. And because we have more time, we can actually have Mr. Yu Ming, who is a renowned inheritor of the intangible cultural heritage, to teach me a little bit about how we can make this. 我们可以坐下说吧，这样对。Mr. Yu doesn't speak English, so I'll do the translation. Because I have to make sure the mic can catch what I say here, so I'll put the mic here on the table. 您能教一下我们是怎么做出来这个东西吗？ So he's trying to teach me about this.
现在是做一滩粉啊，把它揉。
做一个粉，我跟您一起做好吧？
一起做。
对，先把它揉。
这个粉的大小跟这个炒的大小相仿。不能太少，你可能太少。
I'm having too few rice or flour here, and the first thing we need to do is to put it here into the mold to make sure that they have the similar amount. So I'm jumping the steps. We need to have more flour, right? We make them into the shape of a ball, right? Okay. So this is and
稍微多一点。
I see. So it's really tricky. 这个确实是有很多的技巧啊。So I'm really clumsy in doing this. And then after this, we put it into the mold. And then we try to squeeze it. Okay, press it really hard so it all fits into the mold. So, Mr. You just told me to press it hard so the shape of it can be seen on the flower. Then we need to beat it very hard on the table. Just so we have to use our hand to be below it, to make sure it doesn't fall onto the floor, right? 就为了防止掉就是要接触了
打一点点
Okay, this is really tricky. Oh, okay. It's my very first. Good, right? Very good. Who's better? Can you do this?
This is better.
Mine is better. I think you're the best. You speak really good English. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
9 years old.
9 years old. Good. Very good boy. Very cute. So this is the first step. Now you can already see that I have made a special rice cake with the name with the Chinese character of Fu. It actually means fortune, and it's one of the most it's been widely seen in many of the traditions here in China. And then this is shou. It means longevity in Chinese character. Okay. 然后我们做完这个之后，下一步。
我们做个带线的好吗？
做个带线的。Okay. So now we are going to make it harder. Mr. Yu will teach me how to put how to make one with stuff with the red bean paste into it. So first we still do the same. 我们还是像刚才一样，把它做成这个一个球体。
再用手按进去。
And then we press it.
对，我瞅一下。
I see. I think I am actually becoming an inheritor of the intangible cultural heritage. I'm trying to save this from disappearing. 红豆沙. This is the red bean paste, Mr. Yu just told me. So we'll put the red bean paste into the flour.
小朋友你不要
And then we. Am I putting too much? Okay. Okay.
这个朝上。
朝上。
对。
这样揪一个。Okay. Do we need to have 我们在 So I need to have more flour on it.
还是这样。再放
And
进
then we
去
do
的时
this.
候要慢一点，慢一点。
This time we need to be slower and be more gentle because we got stuff in it. So we do it slowly, gently, trying to make sure the stuff inside doesn't come out. And then we press it like this, right? Okay, now I do what I can. Now I know what I should do. The same.
打在这样打。不能这样打。
Okay. Now 3, 2, 1, go. Woo. Okay, I see. This is yummy, right?
线不露出来就是合格的。
线不露出来就是合格的。Mr. Yu told me that as long as the stuff doesn't come out, it's the one that is qualified to be cooked. So I assume that I'm doing a really good job. 我看起来我做的这个是很好的，是吧？
对。
Yes. Are you also doing a good job?
Yes.
Very confident boy. Good. So okay, now we have already. I have already made 2 of them, and here we can see there are many kinds of them. And Mr. Yu, would you introduce to us more? Because just now we have very limited time on TV. This time we have plenty of time. Would you introduce to us more about the shapes? How different shapes represent different kind of blessings here? 刚才我们因为电视上时间有限，这次呢我们时间多了，您再多给我们讲几个不同的形状，代表什么？尤其在人生不同的阶段，它都有什么？
现在不敲。当我们在 小孩子在出生的时候，在小孩子长大的时候，周岁啊、造房子、娶媳妇，一直到做寿，一直到老人寿终，我们人生的每一个阶段，我们都会去做糕点，把每一个人生的阶段对这种生活的一种愿望，都用糕点表达出来。
Do the translation first. 我先翻译一下啊。So Mr. Yu just told me that for each important stage of people's life, like giving birth to a baby, like a marriage or a wedding or a funeral for the elderly people, for each stage of life, people cook a different shape of the rice cake so as to mean different kinds of blessings.
对，那么我们对人生的一种美好的愿望啊，都寄托在这种糕点里面。我们每一个季节都会做不同的糕点。春天的时候我们做饼，啊，夏天的时候做糕，秋天的时候做酥，冬天的时候做糖。一年四季，我们都有饮食的一个形式啊，把美好的祝愿，对生活的祝愿。
And also in different seasons, people would cook different kinds of rice cakes so as to have different kinds of blessings.
对，我们现在很多孩子到这里来，因为像我们现在的孩子从小到大很难再接触到这种即将失去的一种文化啊。当我们我们小的时候，每一个季节都会做这些东西，但现在的孩子接触这东西越来越少了。
And Mr. Yu told me that it's very sad that today, for children like them, they are having fewer and fewer chances to enjoy this kind of important traditional customs. But for people like Mr. Yu, in his age, when he was young, actually there are a lot of opportunities for him. There were a lot of opportunities for him to enjoy this kind of traditional customs as a kid here in China. 那您多给我们讲几个不同的形状代表。
好的，里面有各种各样的材料。我们这种模具可以有木头的，像这种都是80年、100年以上的那个模具啊，像这种。
这个都有
80年，你像这种都是民国时期的模具。
This is very impressive. Let me do the translation first. 我先翻译一下啊。So Mr. Yu said that when we are using this kind of wooden molds, some of them are actually very old. Take the example for this one. This is actually, can you imagine, it's over 100 years old. It was made in the time of the Republic of China over a century ago. 这是民国时期，是吧？
像我们里面收藏的有整套的嫁妆。当一个女孩出嫁的时候，她娘家会给她做一套模具，让她在出嫁的时候把它
是一整套的
作为陪嫁。
Mr. Yu, 我先翻译啊。Mr. Yu told me that, for example, when a girl is being married to a guy, the family would do a whole set of molds like this, so as to show the blessing of to this girl into this new family, into her new family. 那您给介绍几个墙上的这几个代表什么含义好吗？
这是一条鱼，这是一条鱼。鱼做的不是给自己吃的，是我们用于过年的时候祭祀祖先、给祭神祭天的用的，它是一个祭品，像这条鱼。
So 我翻译啊。So Mr. Yu said this one is a shape of fish. He just pointed it. It's actually not for people to eat. It's actually for the special ceremony for the people to memorize the people who are already passed away. And let me come closer to this.
这是一个寿桃。
And this one is actually
在我们的神话里面，桃子代表长寿。
And peach means longevity in Chinese culture.
西游记里的孙悟空吃了仙桃可以长命百岁，所以我们把美好的愿望，希望一个人能够长寿，就有做一个仙桃的饼送给他。
And you can actually recognize that there's a Chinese word in it. This means show. It actually means longevity. Okay, so that's really interesting. We have seen so many of these different shapes and what they mean. And now let's see some more pragmatic thing of this. How should we cook them and how can we eat them? 那么您能不能带我们看一下？刚才讲了很多的他们背后的这些文化了。那么我们下一步怎么把它们做出来呢？您能演示一下这一锅可以做吗？
可以，我们现在可以装蒸笼了。
Okay, so Mr. Yu told me that now he is actually going to demonstrate for us how all of this can be steamed into 我们能放进去是吧？How they can be there's one more. Okay, there's one more here. One more. Now Mr. Yu will show us how they can be steamed for about 10 minutes before we can eat them. And this is the kitchen of this.
稍微停一下，能停吗？
停可能不行但是您需要准备一下是吧？OK， 那这边先准备一下。So
分天啊，这个地分天啊，要么到楼上。
OK， 那我们去看一下。
7栋。
Mr. Yu said we need to go upstairs for a moment because now they're still trying to prepare for the stove. And it's the second floor of Mr. Yu's small shop. And here we can see a lot of different molds here. And all of them represent different kinds of cultures, stories, and also history.
这个是我们200年前我们这个店传下来的，一直用了200年。
这个是最老的了吗？
对，是我们自己的店传下来的。它的反面，每次的敲打伤痕累累的都。
Mr. Yu told me that this is very impressive. This is over 200 years old. It's the oldest mold here in this shop. And here, Mr. Yu said, if you look closer enough, you can actually see all those broken places. It's because of thousands or even tens of thousands of times of beating it on a table to make sure that they can cook different kinds of rice cakes. This is very impressive.
再看看这里。像这一块是像这一块糕3元节地，就古代的时候家里人去参加科举考试，就用这个糕祝福他得一个好的名次回来。也是一种美好的愿望，它一种功能，就是祝福3元节地，它是一个4面柱嘛。这是一个乌龟，乌龟在我们的神话当中是神兽，寿命很长。当有一个老人过生日后，我们做一个乌龟给他。
Okay, so yeah. So this one is actually a kind of a special mode for people who are going to go something like the ancient college entrance exam that can really define what kind of university you can go to or what kind of job you will do as you grow up. And it's a blessing for you to have a really high score in that kind of exam. And the other one, which is red, you can actually see from the shape. It's actually the shape of a turtle. And turtle here in China means longevity because turtles can really live for a very long time, live even longer than people.
对，当这个是我们江南人称之为定胜糕，定胜糕也是一种祝愿，就是做了这个糕，我们一定会顺顺利利得到一个胜利，有个胜利的果实叫定胜，一定会胜利的。
我们怎么从它的形状看出来呢？
没有，它是一个笋啊，形状是笋，我们用的是谐音，就像糕。糕的谐音就是好发展，就是我们为什么要做糕？每年过年的时候要做糕，就是希望来年比今年更好、更高一层的意思。
This is even more interesting. If you look at the shape of it, it's not actually something that is easy to recognize, but it actually means the blessing for people to win victory in their jobs or in fightings or in any other thing. And actually, this is not because of the shape, but because of the pronunciation. Mr. Yu told me the cake actually is gao here in China, and gao actually means going high. So going higher and higher means more progress and more victory here in people's life. This is very impressive. You've got a lot of collections here.
这个是一套整套的嫁妆，女儿出嫁的时候，父母把整套的模具陪嫁过来。我们江南有个说法叫十里红妆，就说迎亲的队伍它的陪嫁有10里长，这是10里红妆的一部分。
This is even more impressive. This is actually what I said, what Mr. Yu told me, the whole set of molds for a girl who is going to be married into a new family. And 10里红妆的意思是10个吗？但是也不是10个。
没有10里长的红妆。
10里长的红妆。So when the girls are wearing the wedding gowns, it's more like 10 miles long. 队伍拉得很长。It doesn't mean the gown. It's actually the wedding. The guests can be lined up for over 10 miles. Of course, it's not that long, but it actually means how many family members are going here and give more blessings to the Chinese to the wedding of the girl who is going into a new family. 我们现在可以看This is another room with different collections. Okay, and Mr. Yu said that in this room, where we are now in, is actually a different style of molds, and you can actually judge from the shape. Many of them look very different. It's called the so-called Hui style, which is the Huizhe district, the Anhui and Zhejiang province. Because here, Hangzhou actually represents more about the Zhejiang province in China. It's one of the richest coastal province in China. But Hui is more inland. Anhui is a place that is landlocked. It does not actually go closer with the sea.
这些都是神仙。我们在做糕点的时候，把神仙做进去，预备的希望我们的生活像神仙一样美好、无忧无虑的。这些都是神仙。这个叫和合二仙。
Okay, so these, you can see they have more vivid shapes, they are more recognizable, they're actually the gods here in China, the gods that people worship, and they represent good luck and auspicious lives.
我们一般来讲，我们这个糕点越是像这种做的细小的糕点，越是贵族去吃的，做的精细的；越是饼子做的很大的，那相对来说是平民啊，一般的老百姓吃的。
So if you look at all of them, the smaller ones are actually for the noble classes, for the higher upper middle classes here in China. The smaller it is, the higher rank it actually goes to. And the bigger ones are actually for the ordinary people or the lower middle class people in ancient China. So they really have a lot of very unique cultures behind them. And they are just so impressive if you look at all these.
称之为湖家系点，就是湖州和嘉西我们江南的核心地带，我们的点心都做得很小巧，因为南方人长得小，胃口也小，所以南方的做比较小，而北方的模子会做得很大，特别是山东人的模子。
And another difference is that when southern Chinese people are making this kind of molds, they would make it smaller, and this is for the northern Chinese people, they would make it much bigger. This is actually the same with the people's diets here in China. In southern China, people would eat more delicate, exquisite cuisines, and in northern China, for people like me, I'm from the north, from Tianjin, actually we eat a lot of much bigger things, just to make sure our bodies are stronger. Probably because it's colder in our hometown. Okay, so now we are going downstairs, and we can have a look at the kitchen. We can see whether we are ready to cook, to steam all those rice cakes I was struggling to make just now. There's a family photo of Mr. Yu, family stories of him.
这张照片，这个是 my mother.
How old was she?
Grand mother, grandfather.
I think I already recognize.
这个是姨妈。
姨妈。This is this is Mr. Yu's mom. She was how old was she?
3岁嘛。
3岁，3 years old at the time. And
这个3个是姨妈，这个是 uncle。
and grandma and grandpa, right? The two ancestors.
1949年，刚好有70年历史了。
70年。
This 就在这个位置。
就在这个。This photo was taken exactly at the same place of this area. But the buildings were already gone, right? 这些楼已经拆掉了，是吧？
对，就房子已经形成。因为我们塘溪呢是江南的一个大的码头，全国各地的居民都在这里定居，就是每个地方都带来了不同的文化。比方宁波人在这里，我们塘溪所有的做食品的都是宁波人，做金融业的开当铺做钱庄全部是徽州人，绍兴人的手工业酿酒啊，每个地方的人都带来一方的文化，在这里交融。
So Mr. Yu told me that this is more like a crossroad. The Yutang district of Hangzhou City is more like a crossroads of Zhejiang province. People from different areas have different industries. And because this is the starting point of the famous Hangzhou-Beijing Canal, it actually connects all different kinds of group of people here in this small area. And then it's a place of diversity and pluralism, and people have different kinds of cultures, and they're all coming here and to merge. Is the kitchen ready? 那个厨房好了吗？
应该好了。
The kitchen is almost ready. Let's go and take a look. Wow, here we can see that. 还有几分钟？ Wow.
对，到10分就好。
Okay, my glasses.
稍微等个几分钟。
稍微等几分钟。It's just a few minutes before it's fully cooked. 您这边是在做什么呀？
在做。
您是在准备那个面粉是吧？
对，它是做另外一种糕点。
做另外一种糕点。
这个也是一种即将消失的糕点，因为我们小时候每天都吃，它是茶楼里面的人喝茶的时候吃的小点心，所以我们称之为茶糕，并不是说里面有茶叶才叫茶糕。我刚才讲了，我们好多的商人在这边河边的茶楼里面谈生意，吃的这就是这个点心。
So here, this lady is preparing to cook another kind of cake here in southern China. It's also a kind of disappearing customs here in southern China. Mr. Yu just told me that this is a special kind of cake that is particularly designed for people when they are drinking tea. And okay, we have seen the. Okay, Mr. Yu said in 2 or 3 minutes they will be ready.
再讲讲另外一种好吧？
再讲讲。我们看一看其他的小朋友，他们是不是在准备吃呢？
小孩子
还在
跑光了吧？
跑光了。Okay, I was trying to ask if the kids are still here, and we'll let them to have a taste, but unfortunately, all of them are already gone. They're actually outside of this house, and in a few minutes after the cakes are fully cooked, we will also go out and take a look at what the other areas of this picturesque ancient town look like. OK， 那我们要不就不等了吧？现在我们就因为照顾到观众的这个节奏啊什么，对，我们就结束在这里，然后我们就出去，好吧 ？OK。So because we have limited time, we will not just keep waiting, or otherwise we'll just do the eating without the audiences being able to eat. So thank you very much, Mr. Yu. Now we are going out of this house, and we'll have a look at how this ancient old town called Tangqi look like. And you can see it's been bustling with people coming all across China to be here to celebrate the traditional Chinese New Year. And that's actually a mixture of the old and new. It's the old buildings and old culture meeting with the modern commercialism. Some of them are not actually being merged in a good way. We can go and take a look. At the end of this, something like a northern hutung or a southern alley, you will actually see a 500-year-old bridge. And here we can see it's very, very crowded. And as we go all the way to that bridge, I will try to introduce to you more about the history of this ancient town. The Tangqi ancient town, originally a fishing village, began developing into a canal town since 1,000 years ago. It began flourishing over the past 500 years as a trade and shipping hub for a never-ending flow of goods. And here we can see a lot of toys, modern toys, made in China, very typical ones. Perhaps as a foreigner, when you look at a scenario like this, it's very new to you, and you may think that this is very Chinese, this is very local, and it represents the traditional ancient customs here in China. But actually, as a Chinese, let me be honest, I can tell you that this is not. This is actually the same with all kinds of other tourist attractions in China. Nothing new here. They are all the same. So this is really sad because of the commercialization of many of the areas, the ancient towns here. It's very sad that they're all becoming the same in the way of making businesses. So just now my colleague said the signal wasn't working very well here. So let me repeat what I said just now to make sure that you have received all the footage and also the information. Well, I just told you that as a foreigner, when you watch our live streaming scenario like this, you may think that this is something very traditional. It represents the local culture, the ancient, China. But actually, I can tell you this is not. This is actually a highly commercialized place. And in many of the tourist attractions here in China, they all look like this. It's very sad that because people are trying to make businesses, trying to make money out of it, there's not a lot of new creativity, and all of them are learning from each other to try to pretend to have something old, something traditional. And I can tell you that almost in every single tourist attraction, they look all the same. But the ancient old town here, which is the Tangxi ancient town, is the authentic one, it's the real one. It was, as I told you just now, it was over 1,000 years old. And it began flourishing about 500 years ago. And this is because of its strategic location on the southern starting point of a 2,000-kilometer long canal linking Hangzhou and Chinese capital of Beijing. Tangxi has become widely known as the head of the top 10 renowned towns in Jiangnan area. Jiangnan is a geographical area referring to the land at the southern lower reaches of the Yangtze River, known for its favorable climate and fertile land. Jiangnan is now home to many prosperous towns and rising talents. Tangxi ancient town is rich in culture and history, particularly with its 500-year-old Guangji Bridge. It's a UNESCO heritage site. It's topping the list of all the attractions here. And here we can see it's been bustling with people coming here to observe the Chinese New Year traditions. And it's also a time for people to come here and celebrate with their families. It's the 4th day after the Chinese New Year's Eve. So people are coming all the way here with their families, with their kids, with the elderly family members here to celebrate their family reunions. And also it's the 4th day after all the 3 days family reunion, so they're all coming out. And here we can see many people are coming here on this long and ancient traditional alley here. And on both sides of it, you can see that beautiful old-style houses here in Tangxi ancient town. And this river is actually a canal. It's the famous Hangzhou-Beijing Canal. It's nearly 2,000 kilometers long, linking the southern city of Hangzhou all the way up north to the Chinese capital, Beijing. It was built over 1,000 years ago. And we're actually on this famous bridge, which is 500 years old. This is a very high bridge, so that they can allow the bigger ships to flow in and out beneath the bridge. But here, as I told you, because of the commercialization, we can also see that it's very sad that many of the commercial elements, like the I was asking my cameraman to shoot that KFC here. I'm not sure how you look at this, but for many Chinese, they believe that this is a classic example of the modern capitalism. It's a bit noisy here. This is the classic example of the modern capitalism invading into the old and traditional customs here in China. And people are hoping that this kind of thing can be over in a few years, but it seems that it's still going on and on in many of the places here in China. And here we see a interesting little kid. Okay, so with all these people coming here to celebrate the traditional Chinese New Year, it's been really a great place. 我们往前走2步吧. Here we are, this place is a bit noisy. 我们看一下那边有一个戏. Here there's a big loudspeaker. It's very, very noisy, but it says we should not stop on the bridge, trying to advise people not to stop on the bridge and to make sure there will not be a stampede. There's simply too many people, and the policemen are trying to make sure that everything is safe here. And down there on the bridge, we can see it's a traditional Peking opera, Southern style Peking opera here in Hangzhou. Actually, let me be honest, for me, I do not understand what they're singing. It's a very different accent, very different dialect. So it's almost a different language for me. So that is why we say there's a very diverse culture in different areas of China. And here it's Southern China, and in the fourth day of the Chinese New Year, it has all these traditional customs like this. And then perhaps in the next few days, there will be also some other new customs that are highly different from northern China or from all the other places here in China. So we will try to tell you more about that in the next few days if we still have chance to do more live streaming or news packages about what is going on here in southern China. Now, Happy New Year to all of you who are watching this live streaming, and we are hoping that you will have a very auspicious Chinese New Year of the Pig. Bye-bye.